All right, hey guys, what's going on? Need some more drums here back in our unnamed city. So as usual, leave some name suggestions below. Probably gonna go with a little drum theme, if possible. So if you have any musical knowledge or anything, or want to nominate even like an artist, yeah, anything goes. So feel free to leave a comment with a name suggestion down below, please, and we will look at those later. But apparently, we have some power issues to address. Probably because I kept lowering the budget. So I'm going to raise that real quick first and foremost. We'll actually just bring it back up to 100%. But we're still losing a lot of money, which is still okay in this stage. So I think all that we really need to do is really focus on just expanding the city. And that's going to bring us some additional tax income. And, sooner or later, we'll be able to take full advantage of our city services, and we'll be making enough income to offset those expenses. So it looks like right now we have a pretty high demand for some residential, both low and medium density. And so one thing that I did last episode is go through and add in some trees. I think it's like some of these are still a little big for the area, but I might go through and remove like some of these super tall ones, but it does look a lot better when you just put down a few trees. I really like having that anarchy availability just to make the city look a little bit better. But in addition to expanding out the city today, we need to focus on some more city services. So I think we didn't add in any kind of police or fire in the last episode. We need to worry about that. And we still need to add in some sort of garbage collection service. And I'm thinking about either buying the recycling center or making the landfill in an area, maybe, closer kind of out here, out this way by this power plant. So we'll see in a minute what I decide to do with that. But yeah, so the first thing that I want to do is really get started on some expansion, since I don't want to, put down city services yet when we don't really have the money to do so. And I think we have a little bit of room for that. But yeah, it looks like, what do we have here? We have a car accident, but probably no police to deal with that. So they're going to have to deal with it themselves for now, I guess. Yeah, is what it is. All right, we'll deal with that later. Traffic jam. Yeah, but anyway. Let's take a look at some of our roads. So I actually made a couple of edits as well. I decided real quick to make sort of a main road with a kind of an interesting design. So I want to be conscious of where our roads are going, but I want to try to not delete a ton of buildings. So what I did was make this main road kind of cut through here, but then instead of cutting right through these buildings here and actually demolishing these, what I decided to do was turn this into a one-way road and make this kind of a little one-way section. So we have a one-way road coming off of this avenue here and goes around like this, and then we have the one-way road here. So traffic can still flow through in both directions and is, relatively uninterrupted, just has to make a couple of additional turns. But at the very least, we got to preserve these buildings so we don't have to demolish those. And so I saved these open spots here. I saved these for some commercial zones, and actually I'm going to go ahead and probably upgrade this one as well, just to match the style. And then that means this should be just a regular road. This should actually be a one-way road. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, so we have that. And so I envision that we're going to expand our low density residential kind of out this way. And hopefully we can connect up to this highway at some point soon. And then we can also have an expansion kind of around the cemetery. So you can see I started to do that already. I'm kind of placing my zones down piece by piece to kind of preserve the size of the different lots. And in this episode, I really want to try to make an effort to make the grid look really, really good and kind of keep a clean grid throughout. And I know there are some tips and tricks to do that, and I am still learning. I watch some other videos from other content creators, and I'm still learning the ins and outs of the game and kind of how to make those aesthetic changes that just make your city look way more organized and to get the zones aligned and everything like that. So we're going to pay special attention to that in this episode with this big expansion, because I'm hoping to kind of expand out this entire area here. And I really do see this as being a pretty residential area, some industry kind of creeping out over this way, but this area is going to be pretty residential as far as I can tell. So let's get started with that, and then I will check back in with you guys soon enough. So here we go. Let's see what we build. All right, so that's a nice little start to the grid. And as I was building this, I was trying to think about maybe where some of our major roads are going to go. And so I'm envisioning that this road here, what is this? Birdsong Street is going to become a main road because this is going to go straight through, and it looks like it's going to be able to connect nicely to our highway over here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that right now before we develop all of this. And I know I just said that I want to try as good as possible to not have to demolish a ton of homes. And so I'm going to do this preemptively and demolish only a couple of homes. So yeah, I guess, you know, better now than later. Yeah, at least this will carry us through here, and then we'll be able to connect it to this highway in the future. And now we have a couple of nice main roads that kind of go through the city. And this is also going to become a main road as well. And so I'm anticipating, I'm not sure if I really want to remove, kind of do it on this side and shrink this commercial zone, or if I want to do it on this side and risk getting really, really close to the train line here. The train line actually, you know, obviously this is just a dirt path right now. So I guess since the train line's not built, I'm going to go ahead and make this, I'm just going to, you know, put this in its place right now, and then we can build the train line kind of even parallel to this dirt road, and, you know, have a little bit more space. So that'll help significantly. And I think for now, let's actually delete a couple of these. And I forgot can you make avenue connections? Yeah, so I just put that there for a placeholder. And obviously that will change, but I just want to have some kind of outline of where I think the train lines are going to go. I'm envisioning, you know, some cargo station somewhere around here, some passenger station somewhere around here. And eventually over time, who knows, maybe this industrial area will actually turn into somewhat of a more pedestrian friendly area. So we'll just have to wait, see what happens with some natural city expansion. But speaking of which, let's go ahead and actually zone out some residential now that we have the grids for it. So if you look at the terrain, just real quick, it does look pretty flat around here, which is super nice, especially for these single family homes. We're just going to go ahead and drag some of this out. So I'm actually going to fill in the zones over here that I left off from before. Now we'll go ahead and actually zone out some areas in here. So I may save some of this for some commercial a little bit down the line, especially over here. At the very least, I think this would be a good spot for some row housing. And actually along the cemetery too, this might get upgraded in the future to some row housing as well. But for now, we're just going to drag some row housing here, and we'll use the 1x3s. I like that size. It's kind of a nice, you know, smaller row house. Nothing too crazy. And I'm saving this area for some commercial and especially for some mixed use later on. So we'll keep those areas available for now. I guess now that we have that done, I want to go ahead and actually change. So we have the houses are facing this way in all of these areas, and I actually want to change the direction a little bit. So we're going to have them face this way instead to kind of line up with these row houses. So let's just drag these through just like this. This is the way that I typically zone out my residential zones. Very, very easy to do. And it keeps somewhat of a uniform look throughout some of these areas. And then we'll go in and fill in the gaps a little bit later. So as you can see, that just completely demolished our entire demand for residential, it looks like, which is good and bad. So let's go take a look at some of our population statistics. So I think we can access, what do we have? Population. And yeah, we could see our unemployment. And I've heard there's still a few bugs in the game that relate to like homelessness and employment and everything. And so hopefully they kind of get some of those worked out sooner rather than later. But 21% unemployment is not very great. So there's not a lot of jobs available for people to have, but there is still quite a demand for residential, which is kind of interesting, to be honest. But maybe we have a pretty young population, but we actually don't. We have a pretty there's a strong working age population here. So not really sure what to do about that. I think we could zone out some more industry because there is a demand for that. We should zone out some more commercial as well, just in case. And then that those, as long as those jobs as long as those jobs are available, maybe it'll boost the demand a little bit and people can actually come in and work in those areas. So I'm actually going to go ahead and zone out some commercial here and here, like I said I would do. And then in terms of industry, I want to make this area an industrial area just right along the coast, and we'll have the train line that kind of cuts through here. So we're going to actually jump in here to some terrain editing and just work this coastline a little bit and make this very industrial friendly. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll check with you guys in a minute. All right, so I actually pulled the trigger and got this mod it allows you to access some additional road customization options. So you can add keys, retaining walls, you can make it elevated, you can make it a tunnel. And so I'm gonna see if I can actually do that with some of these and see how it actually looks. So if I just like add a key, if I go left only, yeah, so you do gotta pay attention to what side you actually make it on. Yeah, in this case, let's see if I can rebuild that building there. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so that looks great. That looks way better. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So yeah, so just got to be conscious again of what side I'm actually placing this on. Yeah, that looks really good. That's really cool now that we have a way to add keys and retaining walls into the game. And yeah, like I said, I'm not using a ton of mods, but I think a lot of these are just kind of quality of life, some things that were in City Skylines 1 that I wish would have been put in City Skylines 2. And now that the modding community is getting a little bit more, established, and there's some better mods coming out, I actually have faith in some of these mods and will, look forward to actually using them. But yeah, so I think that looks really, really good. Way better than it did before. We have this little water flooding issue over here. And I think it's because this water is actually getting gradually higher, like the terrain is higher and the water table is a little bit higher up here. So if something happens and we can't actually use this area, then we'll just we'll figure something else out here. But I do like these spots over here. This looks fantastic, and I actually am gonna delete these trees because I don't know why there are still trees there, but it's fine. Let's go ahead and remove some of these just by right clicking here. I think that has to do sometimes with some of these anarchy mods, and they don't really, like, for some reason the trees still kind of pop up. We saw that in the last episode when I tried to use move it with the road, it like popped up some random trees. So we'll see, you know, how that all works in the future. But for now, it seems to be a little bit of an issue. No worries though. Yeah, so our industry is looking a little bit nicer down here, and we'll build some more over here, and we'll put a, you know, like I said, we'll probably put a cargo train station down here a little bit later as well. But for now, let's turn our attention back to some residential development, and we're actually making some money, it looks like. So pretty soon we'll be able to invest in some of these city services. You can see there's some crime activity going on due to the lack of a police force. But for now, let's just go ahead and zone out some more residential zones. And we just unlocked a signature building. So the Rock Musician Mansion, we'll put that down a little bit later. I kind of have a cool idea. Well, actually, I don't have any idea of where I'm going to put that. But I have some cool ideas based on where I've put that building in the past. You know, we can kind of give it like a little bit of a private area. You know, it could be some kind of old historical significant. It'll have some, you know, historical significance in the city's development, and we can make kind of a historical park around it or something. So, you know, make some prime real estate. But for now, again, let's turn our attention back to some residential development. So we have a pretty big demand for medium density, and I think I may rework this area a little bit. This was kind of, I thought it would look cool, but I think it doesn't look as great as I thought it would. So I might go back and kind of rebuild this in a much cleaner fashion. But in terms of medium density, I think this block here can be a good medium density zone, and maybe even this block as well. You figure these could be kind of some housing barracks that, you know, people would have lived in the past. You know, if this is a very industrial area around here, it always helps to have some workers close by so they could, you know, either walk to work, or eventually we'll have like some kind of bus route over here. But yeah, that, you know, it helps to have something like that as opposed to just assuming that people are going to travel all the way over here. So we're going to add some more dense zones around this area. Let's make some even city blocks, and we can start that process now. So I think this is maybe an area where we can get away with some cool kind of alleyways around here. So I wonder if we can do something maybe like this, like that. And I hate how this isn't, oh, it's so frustrating. That is so frustrating. Why won't you zone? I don't know. I'm kind of not really liking how this grid is turning out. Let me spend a little bit of time with this and see if I can actually get this to work out the way I want it to. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Just drag this road through here and it fixed this entire grid. I am loving that. That is so cool. Let's see if we can add some kind of connection through here. Yeah, I know it's not really liking this, this little street here. You know, maybe we can do something kind of nifty like that. Yeah, like an old historical street. We can add maybe some sort of park here. Maybe we'll upgrade that road in the future, but for now I'm kind of liking that. Just a little bit different, something a little weird, kind of cool if you ask me. Yeah, so we have these alleyways here, and so that'll kind of signify where we put these residential zones. And I'm actually going to drag this through, and hopefully that doesn't break our grid, which it did not, so that's awesome. And now this is exactly why I kind of want to redo this area. I want to make these roads a little more in line. You know, we'll have these connections be a little more in line with these over here. So actually, do I want to dezone this all right now? Yeah, I do. Hopefully this doesn't make a ton of homeless people in our city, but we'll just dezone, let these get out of the way, and it's fine. It's fine for now. In the meantime, we can zone out some development over here. So let's go do that. So I'm thinking we could do some homes facing this way this time around. Those are developing very nicely. Then we can have some of these back up to this alleyway here, like so. And I feel like that these are not going to develop for some reason, so those are going to have to face a different way, which is kind of annoying, but it's fine. I don't feel like going through and upgrading the zoning And then here we'll save some space maybe along this main road for some more commercial if needed. But for now, we're going to make this residential. And that's frustrating too, because oh no, we have this one tile that's going to mess up my grid. It's fine. Maybe that could be maybe this could be a little city service spot. That's what I like to do in those areas that don't always work out nicely. So we'll see. Yeah, this is very frustrating right here. See if we can get some more even homes zone there. I think we can. And then we'll zone these and see how those develop as well. Yeah, so we have these zones kind of they're going away. And like I said, we're going to rebuild this area. But for now, since we're making a little bit of money, let's build a police station. And oh no, we have a fire. I'm going to pause it because I don't want my whole city to burn down because we don't have a fire department. So let's see where we could put down a fire station. And I thought about making like a cool little city center somewhere over here. So I'm thinking that, you know, we can do something cool with a fire station, maybe over here or something like that. Where did I put, I did build some one-way roads when I first developed this city, and now I don't know where they are. Yeah, I guess I don't have any more one-way little areas over here like I thought I did. Well, that's okay. At the very least, we can make a little city center kind of over here, I'm thinking. Maybe we can do something cool. But for now, you know what? Let's just put down this fire station. We definitely need it. And I do want it to be somewhere in the middle of this area. I think it would make sense. You know, we need an effective coverage area. We're just gonna go ahead and put it down right there for now. Now I'll press play. We'll let these guys get dispatched here. And I'm pretty sure if, you know, it might have already dispatched one from another community. So we'll probably see a fire truck coming through here pretty soon, all the way from one of our neighboring connections. In the meantime, hopefully the city doesn't burn down. Actually, nope. There we go. Going to work. Perfect. Awesome. Love to see that. And another one. Okay. Good thing we have multiple fire engines. So yeah, we'll let them do their thing. And in the meantime, let's put down a police station somewhere over here. So I think we could use one of these awkward grid spaces for a police station, or we can actually make one kind of over here, since this is a little bit of a city center. I think that might be cool. We could put it down kind of right over here. Let's extend out this road like so. Yeah, that gives us a nice little messed up grid that we could put a police station in. So that'll be perfect. That'll work out very, very nicely. And for this one, I just want to use the small police station because there's no need to use any kind of, you know, significantly larger ones right now. Let's go ahead and put that down. It'll get to work dealing with some of these crimes. And in the meantime, we will keep expanding out our residential demand since we're actually blowing through cash like crazy. So I do want to get all of these blocks filled out, and I think that'll give us a pretty good amount of additional income. So we're just going to keep zoning as usual. Like I said, I'll leave this for some commercial for now. And I'm actually going to just start here and go with these blocks going this way. And once all of these are developed, we'll resort back and kind of go back and forth between some of this medium density and low density housing. Give a nice distinction between the types of buildings that we see in our city. Plus, this patch of grid isn't really working to our advantage. Let's jump over here and actually zone out this one. And that just looks perfect. That's going to be absolutely perfect. And we'll go through a little bit later once we get a few more development points. And we'll actually, you know, devote some time to making some tree-lined streets and such, making the city look a little bit better. But for now, we're just gonna deal with it. Don't want to spend our development points on that just yet. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into a little bit of a time lapse, clean up this area here, and then expand this out a little bit more. And I will talk to you guys once we've made some progress. All right, and so you know what? Is it functional? Not really, but is it cool? Yeah, yeah, it is. So I think this is going to be a cool little thing for, we're going to have like a little park through here or something. This could be a cool little centerpiece for the city, or even better, make these into some pathways or something. Doesn't necessarily have to be roads. I think this is a cool little addition, kind of everything coming together here. But for the meantime, you figure that there might be some residential around here for the industry workers, but you know what? I'm actually a little bit hesitant to put it down. I kind of want to keep this just as a nice open area for now, and we can maybe do something with that a little bit later. But for now, speaking of residential, we have a demand for many, many more residential buildings. So let's go ahead and actually zone some of these out. Again, might save this area for a little bit, something different. So this is kind of whack. And same with this area here. Might save that for something different as well. But we do have another commercial building popping up. Actually, a couple. So that's good. Our commercial demand is increasing. Yeah, I don't actually know why these zones aren't developing. Maybe these are all facing this way. That's my guess. So we'll leave those for now. Maybe we can actually I'll dezone those for now, and we can make those maybe into a park or something like that. We can have a couple of parks around here. In the meantime, like I said, we'll just keep expanding a little bit. I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Alright, so we just unlocked a Grand Village milestone, which is pretty nice given the circumstances. We're also getting very close to kind of breaking even again here in terms of our finances. So yeah, let's just finish zoning out some of this residential here. We have a lot, again, of single family housing, but it also means now we can get some office demand, which is very interesting. So we don't really have the education in my opinion, but ooh, we also have parks and public transit. Oh man, that is huge. That is another episode's worth of stuff right there. So we're gonna ignore that for now and really just focus on what we need to do, which is just continue to expand out these residential zones. And if I'm being honest, I don't even think we don't even have any schools yet or anything. So trying to get a little bit more money into the city before we actually start spending it on, some city services and such. And to get money, we just need tax income, and to get tax income, we just need population. I mean, it is as simple as that. So trying our best here, but yeah, let's actually focus on some more residential zones. And I don't really want to put any low rent housing in here just yet, just because I'm a little bit nervous about what that might do to our, you know, our city. You know, I don't want too many low income areas just yet, but I feel like if people, you know, if the industry is profitable, then people can afford some of these homes. But I mean, we do have some poor, wretched, we have a lot of very, very poor citizens in the city. So that does say something about, you know, the types of housing and kind of, you know, the affordability of some of that. So I mean, I think we can actually check that here. Look at land value. Its land value is still very, very low. But I mean, I feel like people are not able to really afford this yet. Yeah, so a lot of people are very low wealth, which is to be expected. The city is not making much money. You know, these people, I mean, there's not a ton of jobs available. So we're going to keep kind of working through this. You know, these are things that take time. This is a gradual, something we need to work on and improve on over time, is to see some gradual improvements. So I'm not super worried about a lot of this right now in the immediate future. But, you know, there will come a time pretty soon when we should start paying attention to improving the household wealth if we can't do that naturally, you know, with some of these methods here. So actually, no, I'm going to delete these for some commercial, just in case, or some other kind of city service. You know, since this is a main road, you'll notice in the quick little time lapse that I did, I wanted to add in another sort of main road. And so we have this one here. I'm debating if I want to actually cut it straight through. I might do it while the city is still young. I'll think about that in the future. But, you know, so far we have the not a ton of main roads. You know, we only have this one that goes all the way this way. We have this one now that kind of cuts through here, and then we have this one that's going to come and connect to our highway eventually. And so I want to save the city from being, you know, over inundated with tons of main roads. You know, we just need a few. We just need a few to kind of bring people around. This one is going to be huge. That comes around through here. This is going to be having some pretty heavy traffic, I imagine, in the future. So I'm trying to limit the connections to this road. I want to make it, you know, especially like around here, I'll probably remove some of these in the future as we develop this area out. You know, I want to limit the connections to this road. This will kind of become more of like a highway as the city progresses, kind of like a nice lakefront highway system. And I know this angle is driving me crazy, but I really wanted this perfect 90 at this intersection. So as we expand the city, you know, it won't be as noticeable, but going forward, I want to try to make my grids connect up a little bit nicer than that, you know, with the way that the tile works. But, you know, it's fine. We'll figure it out later. So it can't be perfect, right? But we're trying our best. So yeah, so I think a little bit more residential expansion is in order here, and then we should be kind of good to wrap up the episode pretty soon. So we're just gonna go ahead and just keep expanding out a little bit. We'll see what happens with some of this, and we'll just go from there. All right, and you know what? I think this is a great place to call it an episode for today. So we did tons of expansion. This whole part of the city is all new, kind of redone. I'm really liking the way that it looks, actually. Got a nice little roundabout here. We have some medium density row housing going up over here. This whole area, I'm still figuring out what I want to put here. I'm thinking it's going to be some medium density, you know, some more row housing and such. But I want to figure out how to kind of work with this road network. It's a little bit goofy, but I kind of like it. I like this little cul-de-sac intersection here. You know, you figure this would have probably connected up here at one point, but they wanted to remove that in lieu of some better traffic flow here. So I'm kind of liking that. I think we're going to stick with it. I think, you know what I'm going to do? I might just do this. I really hate to do it, but we're going to upgrade these homes in the future anyway, since I figured this is going to be a pretty dense part of the city. At least, you know, some medium density. So these homes will be upgrading very shortly. But, you know, so what I want to do is we're just going to finish up the episode. Just drag this road out like that. So now we have a nice connection between some main roads here. Nice four-way American intersection. Classic American thing there. But I do want to keep some of these roundabouts, though. I kind of like some roundabouts, especially on these busier roads like here. This is going to be a busy road. I think I'm going to put one here eventually. And then, we have these two here, which are really, really nice. So yeah, so in terms of next steps, I don't really want to put office zone down yet. We just don't have the education for it. So I think what we're going to have to do, we're very, very close to breaking even again. So I think I'm going to figure out a way to add in a little bit more of residential expansion, especially some single family homes. Household wealth is not great at all. We do have a demand for some low rent housing, but I'm hesitant to put it down. I might put down a little bit of it somewhere around here, but probably nothing too much. We'll think about that. But we do need to focus on some more city services. So I think in the near future, let's expand out some residential zones, probably over here. This seems like a nice place for some residential. We'll push this industry kind of out a little bit later on, but I want to build up this coastal area for some industry for now, and then we'll kind of, work with this, and then this will probably be pushed out as well at some point. You figure this might be turned into some residential and a nice parkside, coastside park, I guess, or lakeside, riverside, whatever you want to call it. But for now, it's industrial, and we're going to keep it that way. So it'll be cool, as the city progresses, to kind of see how things grow and change. And I do want to make an effort to do that. I want this city to grow organically. We're going to have the framework in place now, but obviously things are going to change. And some of these areas that are major focal points might be a different major focal point at some point in the future. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and call that an episode today. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I hope you guys are enjoying the series. And as a reminder, please leave any name suggestions down below, and we'll name the city pretty soon. So thanks again, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. See ya.